You want to do that again? That's all right.
Very sticky.
Okay. Now here in our latest Impact Driver review, we're looking at the HiKOKI DBDL2, which is a brushless impact driver which boasts 3 hammers, or 3 anvils if you like. So rather than just the 2 knocking round, this has got 3, which we have to presume or assume is going to make it smoother. So we'll have a look at that. Also, it's got ingress protection 56, which means that it's protected against light showers and dust, all that kind of thing. So if you're in that kind of environment, that might appeal to you. It's got 4 settings, and at the maximum setting, it's good for bolts and screws up to M20, which is quite a big chunky old screw there. So anyway, that's enough of me rabbiting. Let's get out there and give it a go. Well, we've had some fun with the HiKOKI, and in many ways it's the most surprising impact driver that we've tried so far. Surprising for the good reasons, surprising for bad reasons if you like, but certainly different. It's called a triple hammer, which means instead of just having those 2 hammers hitting round on the anvil, you've got 3 like the Isle of Man legs if you like, and it's just knocking it round in 3 stages. So it's doing it better. But surprisingly, what we've found is that in the low setting, in the first setting, the gentle screwdriving setting if you like, it hardly did anything. It just actually, the motor protection on it just cut out because it felt it was overloading. So we had to go up a notch. We just about managed to get the small screws in on setting 1, but even that wasn't that convincing. Then when you went up to 2nd speed, we could put those long screws in, timber lock screws and all that kind of thing, and it was fine. So let me just clarify what's going on here, because I think the way it's written here is a little bit confusing. What we've got, the first setting is the soft setting. That's the screwdriving setting for fitting hinges and door locks and things like that, where you don't really need that hammer action and you want loads of control. The 2nd setting is your normal setting, so that's everyday work. It puts these long screws in and all that kind of thing. That's fine. The 3rd setting is the power mode. Now this is for really high torque applications. If you're tightening up bolts or you're putting in extra difficult screws where you need the extra bit of oomph, that takes you up to the maximum torque. And then the last setting is the tech screw setting. Now this is for when you're putting in those self-drilling screws through steel, and the idea of this is that it spins very fast when it's self-drilling and it's getting it going. And then after that, when it hits the host material, which would be the timber or the steel, it slows down, and the idea is that that saves it from stripping the thread out of the screw or the bolt as you go. So, you know, it's a clever bit of kit, and I think that if you get the right setting, it will do the job for you. I think it was probably the most impressive of all the tech screwdrivers that we've tried, the ones which are dedicated to tech screwing. It was very, very assured, very nice, went in very well indeed. So if you're doing up bolts and things like this and you're trying to achieve the maximum torque out of the machine, go for that tightening mode, and it just gives it a grunt. Now, the bit holder, nothing to shout home about, actually quite small in terms of getting your fingers on there. They don't give you a lot of body. That's because it's not actually set out from the body very far, and that they've obviously done to try and keep the dimension as small as possible. But I could have done without that silver collet round there, just so you could get your fingers in a little bit better. On some sites you're made to wear gloves. They won't let you not wear them, so you have to work with gloves, and that doesn't give you much to work with. But that aside, and the fact that again we've got this problem where you go to put the bit in and you have to pull it out. It's not a self-load, one-handed operation on the bit. So something else that, you know, considering that Hitachi have spent a long time getting this machine right and coming to us, I think they could have done a better chuck on it myself, or bit holder I should say, on it. But here's the most surprising thing about this, is it's ingress protected, IP protected 56. Now 56, the 5, the first number is always about the dust. So what they do to test, to give you that rating of 5, is they have to put this in a chamber which is full up with talcum powder, which is being blown around by a fan in the air. And it's very specific, the test. They tell you how many grams of talcum powder you've got to have to a given volume of air. So anyway, they blow it round, and then they take the machine apart, they take the tool apart, and they look inside for traces of talcum powder in the motor and the windings and all that, and the gearbox and all the rest of it. So if they don't find that, it passes that part of a test. The next part of a test is the second number there, the 6, is to do with protection against moisture. Now, all they're claiming here is that if you put this under a shower with, say, 10 litres a minute going onto it, that you can leave it under there for a given time, and it's not that long to pass the test, and you take it out, and if it still works, if it still hasn't impaired any of the functions of the machine, any of the critical functions of the machine, then you pass that test. So therefore you get your ingress 56, which this has got. So we tested that, we sprayed it underwater, it worked fine. And then I thought I'd go one further. This is not something it's rated to do at all, but I thought it'd be a bit of fun. Not our tool, we've got to send it back, so who cares? So we dropped it in a bucket of water.
Can't believe he did it.
All right.
Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it does work.
So this is it 5 minutes later after that test, and apart from the fact it's still spraying water out of the air vents there, so it's still drying, it's actually fine. So I would say that that's the whole thing, battery as well, it's all been totally immersed in water. And so what I'm saying is if you ended up leaving this out in the rain, it wouldn't be the end of the world, which I think in a lot of circumstances, people like me, for example, who go away and forget they've left the tool outside, is a very good thing. So that alone would give that a very high mark, I think, in our test. Who knows, maybe this is for you. If you're running Hitachi platform already, there's a good 6 amp hour battery on there. You can buy the naked body only if you've already got the batteries and the charger, and that will keep the price down. So, I'm Roger Bisbee. I hope you found that interesting. We had a bit of fun with it. That's probably the only one of these impact driver tests where we're going to chuck it in a bucket of water, because none of the others say you can. And, well, they didn't say this one could, but we did it. And come back soon, see us again, because we've got lots more impact driver tests on Skill Builder. And then we've got a roundup. When we've done all the tests, we're going to do a roundup of them all, compare them all, give you the figures, give you the lowdown, and you can make up your own mind. Now, since we recorded this video, Hitachi have announced that they've sold the company. Basically, the power tool arm of Hitachi is now going into another company. I think it's the parent company, but whatever. The Hitachi brand will be no longer, and this brand will take over. So make of that what you will. That doesn't mean you won't be able to get servicing for Hitachi and spare parts. I should imagine that those tools are going to just undertake a little bit of a brand change. So they'll probably be the same tools, just with a different name and a different color. But there you go, another brand changes or another brand dies in this ever-changing world of power tools. Become a subscriber, please, because we love to see those numbers going up, and we'll keep you informed of all the new videos coming up on Skill Builder, and there are lots.